Hello there everyone, Saber here. So despite the continual impact of the pandemic pushing games back time and time again, 2022 hasn't actually been all too bad for PlayStation players. From long-awaited releases to Sony exclusives, we really have been eating good, and that's only halfway through the year. Now, I've already covered the games that we have still to look forward to in 2022, so if you haven't seen that video, go check that one out. But for now, we're casting our minds back to the last 6 months to pick out the top 10 PlayStation games of the year so far. Let's get into it. So we're kicking off this list with Dying Light 2. The last Dying Light game, which arrived on PS4 back in 2015, was a personal favourite of mine from that generation. Now looking ahead to a sequel, all any Dying Light fan really wanted was a bigger and better sandbox to hit out with some of those sweet parkour moves. And that's exactly what they got. Granted, Dying Light 2 isn't going to break any boundaries in either its story or its melee combat, although it has to be noted that there is an improvement on both of those elements. However, with the sandbox of Villador to run around in and an expansion on the moves and animations of parkour, Dying Light 2 was a delight to run around in. On PlayStation 5, this game looks fantastic, and you'll be in disbelief as you scale skyscrapers, run straight through them, and dive 100 foot out the other side to land and crush a zombie's skull. Not to mention that Dying Light 2 has some pretty great world building that makes exploring these zombie infested streets all the more fun. Okay, admittedly, this one is a very personal pick, but it genuinely has to be one of my favourite games of the year so far. Rainbow Six Extraction is the co-op PvE rendition of Rainbow Six Siege, bringing the tactical first-person experience we've been used to with that game and using it to take out a roster of aliens. You'll be squadding up in teams of 3 here and sneaking your way through increasingly difficult levels. The reason I love this game so much is that it gives you plenty to work through, but to a degree the end is in sight. It doesn't take a huge amount of effort to max out one of the operators, all of which are characters from Siege, so you can happily watch those levels and XP tick up time and time again without feeling overburdened. But more importantly, it's just a ton of tactical fun with friends, especially as you get into some of those more difficult levels, begin to consider the different skills and builds your team can muster up, and the fact that there are some consequences to your player going down. If you've been around for long enough, you'll remember the ways in which the LEGO franchise has brought our favourite film series to the video game medium in hilarious blocky fashion. I'm talking Indiana Jones, Batman, Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean and more. But always the best of the bunch had to be the Star Wars games. And that's where LEGO Star Wars' Skywalker Saga comes in, which is filled to the brim with each of the now 9 movies from the Skywalker Saga. Yep, that's right, you're going to be able to play through A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Phantom of the Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. That means that you can relive your favourite movie moments with that signature LEGO sense of humour. It really is quite impressive how much of the game there is here, but also how funny and exciting and chilled out the whole thing can be simultaneously. Yet another asymmetric survival horror experience in the vein of Dead by Daylight. It may not be what you're expecting to see in a top 10 games of the year list, but Evil Dead the game is the exception to the rule. Evil Dead the game is a faithful digital dive into the zany world cooked up by Sam Raimi with an impeccable level of detail that'll have fans of the series agonising over every area of its maps. It looks incredible on PS5, but more importantly, it makes you feel truly awesome by mixing up the formula of this genre to allow players to take the fight back to the demonic forces and have a more active role in your overall survival. With different characters and builds to experiment with, there is plenty of replayability here that make it just about the grooviest time you can have on PlayStation in 2022. Sifu is one of those games that can easily pass you by, but if you give it a moment, it will sink its claws into you. This third-person beat-em-up is a brutal experience where you must fight your way through 5 levels on the hunt for revenge. Sounds simple enough, however, every time you fail, you age, and your stats carry over from level to level, leaving you with less and less lives as you draw nearer to that final boss. This means that you'll be going back to levels time and time again to whittle down those years perfecting combos, memorizing enemy locations in the best order in which to take them out. Sifu is all-consuming, despite on the outside appearing as a simple game, and with its beautiful muted art style, addictive combat and elegant layer of storytelling, you'll be left thinking about it for quite some time. Carheads be warned, if you boot up Gran Turismo 7, you may not ever come back out. This is an addictively laid-back racing experience that will see you tinkering with an impressive array of car parts that'll turn your Renault Clio into a Lamborghini. Admittedly, GT7 isn't for everyone, but for those of you that love to drive and love the cars that you are driving in, then it's the perfect getaway. With plenty of tracks to drift through, cars to collect, and even a multiplayer to compete in, there is plenty on offer with GT7, which is also an experience that will only continue to improve with a host of post-launch content drops. Talking about chilled out experiences, Ollie Ollie World may be the best of them. This side-scrolling skater series has only gone from strength to strength with each entry, and Ollie Ollie World takes it that step further. With an improved art style and some oh so satisfying skate combos, you'll be going back time and time again to beat those high scores, practice your favourite movesets, and maybe even just spend another few minutes listening to its brilliant soundtrack. What I personally love about Ollie Ollie World is how the game doesn't beg for you to commit copious amounts of time to it. Instead, you can dip in for 5 minutes and leave it. You can skate till your thumbs go numb. It's really up to you, and there is so much fun to be had in an unassuming game like this. Horizon Forbidden West is one of the most gorgeous titles available on the PlayStation 5. With a colourful and richly detailed open world, some incredible looking robot dinosaurs, and a balls to the wall sci-fi story, we were incredibly pleased to have this one taking up our SSD space when it launched in February. With some of the grittier post-apocalypse games out there, it's so refreshing to visit a world that is bright and colourful and just an absolute joy to explore. You'll be gawking at the crumbling ruins along the sunny coast of San Francisco one moment, then trembling before the mighty Tremortus the next. Okay, I bet you didn't expect to see this one show up. Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. It's the latest expansion from the growing sci-fi shooter where the Guardians must face off against their greatest threat yet, Zavathun. It all sounds fairly run-of-the-mill for Destiny to be fair, but this DLC was everything the Bungie title needed to revitalise its looter shooter format. Introducing new areas, the Void 3.0 update, the Lucent Brood, which had Hive popping off supers back at the players for once, a new activity, a new raid, new dungeons, a new campaign, and of course a new weapons crafting system. It was an utterly stacked expansion that acts as a reminder that Bungie are continually building upon one of the most satisfying shooters out there. There really couldn't have been much doubt that this one would sit atop this list, and there's a very fine chance that it will remain there for the full 2022 best games list as well. Elden Ring is the epic successor to the Dark Souls and Bloodborne series, where players can explore the dangerous world of the lands between. Of course, it's bringing that signature level of difficulty along with its combat as you battle a range of ungodly beasts. As someone that's never really got behind the Soulsborne genre, Elden Ring was the one that just clicked with me, all thanks to its open world. Without the constant bombardment of waypoints telling you where to go, you're really able to soak up the details of this world and naturally come across some of the most daunting enemies. It made stumbling through a dark forest only to be attacked by a giant bear, or wandering through a flooded district that felt like it went on for miles, all the more enchanting. And that's it for this half of the year. Of course, we're going to be doing an end of year roundup as well in 6 months time, but please let me know what your favourite games have been in 2022 so far. And as always, thanks for watching, and if you're on the lookout for more PlayStation news, reviews, discussions or gameplay, then keep it here on Push Square, and maybe consider subscribing. Anyway guys, it's been great, and I'll see you next time.